All right, team. We're here. We're back in Miami. It is May 3rd. Wanted to go through the whole Eugene weekend, the whole marathon. I mean, it's been 4 months building up to this race day. I've basically, like I said in the past, I've said it time and time again, I have documented just about every workout, whether it's a quick short, going through, paces and times and structure to the workouts. But I will say the one takeaway was, I think, having this, vlog or video journal or whatever has really kept me accountable, and I didn't miss many workouts. If any, I got really good sleep throughout the whole period, and I ate very healthy. I didn't consume any alcohol really for just about 4 months, and it paid off. I'm now a sub-3 marathoner. I went 2:59:25. And, I want to break down the race, but the first thing I'll say is there was a lot of internal turmoil with myself about whether or not to go for it or not, having Chicago later in the year. One of my best friends, he recommended not to blow it out and save it for Chicago and have a good race and go in with the 15-minute PR. And I kind of had that ideology until I towed the line. And then I towed the line with two of my guys and that I train with, and we stayed together. We were clipping about 7 flats for the first half marathon, which came out to about 1:30, I think, or 1:32. And then my back half was a 1:27. I mean, I didn't feel like I started working in the race until mile 16. And I wish I had an editor, because I would post my splits from my Garmin. And when I tell you, I don't think I could have ran a better race for a sub-3, like on the nose. I don't think I could have run a better race. I was at 7:09, 7s, all the way like between 7 and 7:09, 7:03, 6:58, 6:55. For the first like 5 to 10 miles, and then I creeped down the next 5 from 11 to 15 or 11 to 16. I was like more in the 6:50 range, and from 16 to 24 I was like 6:40. My 21st mile or 22nd mile during the race was my strongest miles, which in Miami last year, that was Bonkville, USA. Like, that was where I died. That was where the monkey came on the back. That was where everything went to shit when my race pace went from 7:30s to 8:30s. And I was running, I was like, where's Bonkville? Like, it's gotta be coming up soon. And I felt strong basically until there was 0.6 miles left. And part of that was I was on the track at Hayward Field. So it's like you hit that and you see 2:59 on the board and change, and you sprint. And I did it, and I came through 35 seconds early. So it was pretty remarkable race. As far as like the actual layout, I strongly suggest this marathon. If you've done world marathons, if you've done other larger races, it was extremely well organized. The expo was tiny. Like, it felt like a science fair in the expo. Like, they could probably make it a little bit bigger, quite honestly, and put a few more, companies or brands, but it was manageable. Like, we walked down from our Airbnb to the start line. We could walk to the Graduate if we wanted to. It was a little bit rainy. We still walked. There's a Tracktown USA pizza, which I'm a pizza guy, not a huge fan of the pizza, but the vibes were Tracktown. There's another diner we went to. I think it was the Pancake House, original Pancake House we went to. Had some carbo loading on Saturday. The shakeout run stuff, and I'm just shooting from the hip here. The shakeout run stuff with the Jacuzzi Boys Athletic Club on Saturday was awesome. Great welcoming group of people. Got 3.5 miles in, got to run around the stadium a little bit. I think they're from like Texas. Or some from Portland, some from Texas. There was 2 clubs we ran with. But yeah, as far as like just logistics of being a runner who wants to compete and doesn't want to deal with all the bullshit of like getting on a bus or waiting for, potentially missing the start line or having to take a shit before the race. Like, I literally left my Airbnb at 6:10, got to the line, did a full dynamic stretch. I led a dynamic stretch with my team, got to pee again, and some people gear checked. I fortunately, we had a couple of half marathoners. They brought it back. They went up to the Airbnb, showered, came back, and I was done. Handed me my bag because sometimes I don't trust gear checks, which I would trust this place. This place, the people were amazing. The Uber drivers were like the nicest people. We went up to Prees Rock. We took a wrong turn at our Airbnb. We ended up at Prees Rock. The lady steps out of the Uber, takes pictures of us. I mean, like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, they were so sweet. There's a Whole Foods right there. You could get some groceries. Like, when I tell you, this was a race where it was like, besides Miami, where I could wake up in my own bed and make my, go about my business with bathroom and food. This was like the second best thing. The Airbnb was comfortable. We had probably 6 or 8 people in there. It was kind of like a host house type situation where, we could have a few people over afterwards to have pizza, chicken fingers, whatever. I mean, as far as the course goes itself, rolling hills, very breathable weather. If you train in anything over 60 degrees, 65 degrees, and you come to Oregon, you're going to be in very good breathing shape. I did not feel like my heart rate was ramping up at all until maybe mile 20. I started really working, but I mean, just a couple up downs. There's one larger hill that, like, it's early. It's like 8. The field hasn't broken up fully yet. You still have good energy. You don't want to, my take was, like, exert the same amount of energy on the hill as you would on the flat, because you're going to get it on the way down, and trust that. And you could. I mean, there was one weird downhill I vividly remember that was like on 20 or 22, and it was kind of like a down and around underneath like a little bridge or something. And I remember just being like, I gotta be careful going down this. I tried to stay choppy because I could see people, like, more than any other race, like, go down with cramps and grabbing their hamstrings, or like walking a bit through aid stations. Like, it's definitely, the weather is conducive to some cramping. I'm lucky I didn't get hit. My buddy Carlos got hit. He ended up with the 3:06, but I can't speak more highly of the Eugene Marathon. I think it's a good race. For me, going across the country, it was manageable. The flight patterns to Eugene direct aren't great, but got it done. And yeah, I mean, SUB3, very, very happy. With Chicago, I'm trying to digest everything here. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that I'm leaving out, but I would go Airbnb or Graduate Hotel, because Graduate Hotel is where the convention is. Everything's pretty walkable. Great, friendly people. Very competitive race too. There's some good runners out there, man. Like, the whole Prefontaine vibe. Like, there's so many people. Hayward Field is absolutely astonishing venue, and it's like state-of-the-art track for they're hosting Olympic trials. It was pretty ideal. I wouldn't change a thing. They got a bunch of pancakes out there. They got beers. They have good beer out there. As far as my mentality now going into Chicago, which is in October, which I have plenty of time. I mean, October's 6 months away now. Gonna take a month to just enjoy Z2 running, keep the fitness at a manageable level, do some traveling. On a personal level, I'll definitely continue to record some of my ulterior or alternative workouts. I think I'm gonna mix in some swimming and biking, so long as it's healthy. And I don't want to get hurt on the bike here in Miami. It gets a little risky, but yeah, sub 3 hours. I think for Chicago, it's flat course. It's supposed to be one of the easier. I think Chicago and Berlin are one of the easier majors. So I think I'm gonna shoot for 255 to 250 to 255. And for anyone who didn't notice or follow, I was a 3:17 marathoner, my first marathon. I ran, that was Miami, Then I ran Boston. I curled my ankle in Miami. I ran Boston after PT. I did not train for Boston. I ran a 3:33. So 3:17 was my PR. I went from 3:17 to 2:59. 18-minute PR, 17 and change. Yeah, I don't know how the qualification for Boston works exactly. I've heard that you get a letter in the mail from Boston basically saying you have the opportunity to apply through qualification. You then get in there, and then there's cutoffs based on how many people apply, how many people are in the race that particular year, things like that. But we'll be running Chicago for a charity, the Alzheimer's Association. I'm gonna get some sweet gear done up for them, and I'm really looking forward to that one. I think it's gonna be really fun to get another major, get another star. The London lottery is applied for. There's like 800,000 people who applied for it, so I don't know what my springtime's gonna look like next year, but one race at a time and just keep on chunking down. And I really can't explain the emotions that I felt. All the emotions during the race. I was very euphoric at times, where even my buddy Vince, who I ran with, he was like, dude, you were high. He was like, your energy could not be contained. Like, I was trying to hold you back for 13, 14, 15, and like, you were clipping down, and I just felt it. I was breathing easy. I was trying to prove a point that I could break 3. And like, when someone tells you you can't do it, that's when you do it. So part of the reason why I love marathoning is because it takes out the competitive side, or just racing in general. Oh, that's the other thing. I do want to but I want to work at PRing my 5K, my 10K, my mile, and my 5K, 10K, mile and half. Like, I'm really impressed with my 127 on the back end, because I honestly didn't think I had 127 in me even in like a normal race, but I think now that I have 127 on the backside of a marathon, I think that I could probably do 125, 124, which feels good. Feels good to know. I just got the Adidas Boston 12s. I tried those yesterday at a tempo run. So far so good. Keep you guys posted on those. The On Clouds are past their useful life, so those will be done. But I had very good things to say about those for the whole way through. Now we're on to some recovery. Gonna take a week or two to just really chill and not run hard at all. And still feeling some pain in my IT bands. I think everything else feels good. Bottom of my feet feel good. My toes feel great. I have no black toes. Vaporfly 3s were just, like, the carbon was carboning phenomenally. The weather, man, was perfect. Good pasta beforehand, good coffee beforehand, good bowel movements beforehand. I mean, all things that, runners would typically worry about that are kind of their controllables were controlled. Didn't have to pee, didn't have to poop during the race. Really, really iconic finish. If you want to do a race that's like manageable, like flat enough to a PR, and like welcoming, like there was just such a welcoming vibe. I can't, like, sometimes you go to a marathon, it feels very corporate. It feels like people are cold, like they don't want to help. Like, there was people with signs, ask me questions. Like you didn't have to think. So really good. But yeah, just to nail it down, sub 3 hours, 2:59:25, Chicago on deck. We're gonna do some local races if we can find them. Summertime, got some travels, so I'll be running in some different countries, so I'm excited to see that and show you guys that. Any questions, hit me in the comments. And 18-minute PR, so there you have it. And everything's in front of you. Everything's on this channel, how I did. I didn't hide a thing. So there you have it.